Chucky. Chucky is a serial killer who got his soul into a children's toy to keep murdering. Charles Lee Ray was already called the Lakeshore Strangler, but what he did as a doll broke every rule of what toys should be. Before becoming Chucky, Charles Lee Ray was already a monster. He murdered his own parents as a child, then grew up to become the notorious Lakeshore Strangler with multiple victims across the city. But his evil knew no bounds. He drowned a man named Daniel just so he could pursue Daniel's wife, Sarah. When Sarah got pregnant, Ray stabbed her, leaving her unborn child Nika permanently paralyzed from the waist down. When police finally cornered Ray in a toy store, he used voodoo to transfer his soul into a good guy doll rather than face justice. As Chucky, he gained a terrifying advantage. His small size let him ambush victims who never saw him coming. He continuously tried to possess young Andy Barclay's body so he could become human again, but thankfully Andy's family kept fighting back. What makes Chucky uniquely evil is his complete lack of empathy combined with supernatural persistence. Unlike other killers who are stopped by death, Chucky found a way to continue his killing spree indefinitely. But at least Chucky kills you quickly. Our next character prefers to make you suffer for exactly 7 days first. Samara Morgan. Samara Morgan is a child whose supernatural powers let her kill people through their TVs. 7 days. That's all the warning Samara gives you. But what she does during those 7 days of psychological torture will break your mind before she breaks your body. Samara was born with a terrifying power called Nensha, the ability to burn images onto surfaces, minds, and even human skin. Her origin story is disturbing enough. She was conceived when a priest raped her mother, suggesting she had demonic origins from birth. Her adoptive mother eventually couldn't handle Samara's powers anymore, so she trapped the girl in a well and left her to drown over 7 agonizing days. But death didn't stop Samara. Her vengeful spirit created a cursed videotape that spreads her evil like a virus through modern technology. Anyone who watches the tape receives a phone call with just 2 words: 7 days. For the next week, victims experience escalating psychological torment, disturbing visions, unexplained phenomena, and the growing certainty that death is coming for them. What makes Samara's evil particularly disturbing is that she was always meant to be evil, but was confused by her powers during life. After death, her need to hurt people won't stop. She's become an unstoppable force that uses our own technology against us. At least Samara tells you when you're going to die. Our next character prefers to surprise you at dinner. Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal Lecter is a brilliant psychiatrist who serves his patients as dinner to unsuspecting guests. Dr. Lecter's dinner parties were legendary among Baltimore's elite, but the secret ingredient in his gourmet meals would make you lose your appetite forever. Dr. Hannibal Lecter murdered multiple victims with surgical precision, using his medical knowledge to make their deaths as efficient as possible. But killing them wasn't enough. He served his victims as elaborate gourmet meals to dinner guests who had no idea what they were eating. Imagine sitting at an elegant dinner party, complimenting the chef on the delicious meat, only to discover later that you'd been eating human flesh. Lecter used his psychiatric expertise to psychologically manipulate victims before killing them, getting inside their heads to understand their deepest fears. He operated by his own twisted moral code, targeting people he deemed rude or unworthy. What made him nearly impossible to catch was his genius-level intelligence. He operated several moves ahead of FBI profilers like chess pieces on a board. Lecter's evil is uniquely terrifying because of his complete emotional detachment combined with cultural sophistication, but Hannibal at least cooks his victims. Our next killer prefers them raw. Leatherface. Leatherface is a cannibalistic killer who wears masks made from his victims' faces. What Leatherface does with his victims' skin after skinning them alive is what nightmares are made of. Leatherface crafts masks from human skin and hair, wearing the faces of his victims like trophies. He wields chainsaws as his primary weapons, using them for both killing and dismemberment with terrifying efficiency. His job is to hunt fresh victims to provide meat for his cannibalistic family, who've been living this way for generations in rural Texas. The kills are systematically brutal. Leatherface tortures victims before killing them, then processes their bodies like cattle in a slaughterhouse. He was partially inspired by real-life killer Ed Gein, who also wore human skin and made furniture from body parts. Leatherface has appeared in all 9 Texas Chainsaw Massacre films and influenced masked killers like Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. What makes Leatherface uniquely tragic yet terrifying is that he's mentally disabled and kills primarily out of fear and twisted family loyalty rather than personal malice. His family taught him that this behavior is normal, so he follows orders to kill out of a perverted sense of duty. Unlike most horror villains who choose evil, Leatherface is a monster created by circumstances and isolation. He's what happens when dysfunction and abuse create something inhuman. At least Leatherface has an excuse for his behavior. Our next killer doesn't need one. Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees is an undead killer who's been murdering Camp Crystal Lake teenagers for decades. Jason's kill count spans multiple generations, but his supernatural connection to ancient evil books reveals something much darker than simple revenge. Jason's story began when he drowned as a child at Camp Crystal Lake because the counselors were too busy having sex to watch him. When his mother started killing counselors for revenge, Jason returned from the dead to continue her work. His weapon of choice became the machete, which he used for increasingly brutal dismemberment of teenage campers. The franchise has grossed over $468 million worldwide across 12 films, each one showing Jason's evolution from revenge-seeking son to unstoppable killing machine. But here's what most people don't know. According to director Adam Marcus, Jason is connected to the Evil Dead universe. His mother used the Necronomicon, the ancient book of the dead, to resurrect him as a deadite. This connection explains Jason's supernatural resilience and ability to return from apparent death multiple times. He's not just a killer, he's a supernatural entity bound by ancient evil to continue killing forever. But Jason still follows patterns you can predict. Our next killer has no pattern at all. If you're enjoying this countdown of pure evil, hit that subscribe button. We've got way more dark content coming. Michael Myers. Michael Myers is pure evil with no motivation beyond an innate drive to kill. Michael Myers represents something truly terrifying. Evil that doesn't need a reason, doesn't want anything, and can't be stopped by understanding or reasoning. At age 6, Michael murdered his sister Judith with a kitchen knife on Halloween night. He showed no emotion, no remorse, and no explanation for the killing. After 15 years in psychiatric care, he escaped and returned to Haddonfield to continue killing, targeting teenagers with methodical, relentless attacks using primarily kitchen knives. What makes Michael uniquely terrifying is his supernatural resilience to injuries that should kill any normal person. He's been shot, stabbed, burned, and thrown from buildings, yet he always returns. The original 1978 Halloween film established many slasher conventions and is considered one of the greatest horror films ever made. Michael has appeared in 12 films spanning over 40 years. Filmmakers describe Michael as pure evil, with no discernible motivation beyond killing. Unlike other slashers driven by trauma, revenge, or psychosis, Michael shows no emotion, speaks no words, and demonstrates no clear reasoning for his target selection. But at least Michael kills his victims quickly. Our next character turns killing into performance art. Art the Clown. Art the Clown is a silent sadist who turns torture into elaborate performance pieces. Art's kills are so graphically creative that even hardcore horror fans struggle to watch them without looking away. Art operates as a completely silent killer who communicates only through exaggerated gestures and facial expressions. He creates elaborate torture scenarios designed to maximize victim suffering, using creative dismemberment and mutilation techniques that push the boundaries of what horror audiences can handle. What makes it worse is his childlike playfulness while committing these horrific acts. Art demonstrates intelligence in planning complex torture setups, but he maintains a disturbing contrast between his innocent clown appearance and his brutal methods. He engages in psychological torment before physical torture, breaking his victims mentally before destroying them physically. His kills are notoriously graphic and have made the Terrifier franchise infamous for extreme content. What makes Art uniquely disturbing is that he combines genuine sadistic pleasure with an innocent clown appearance. Unlike killers driven by anger or psychosis, Art clearly enjoys every moment of his victims' suffering, but Art's torture eventually ends. Our next character believes torture is just the beginning. Pinhead. Pinhead is a supernatural being who believes torture is the path to enlightenment. Pinhead doesn't just want to hurt you, he wants to show you experiences beyond the threshold of pain that last for eternity. Pinhead leads the Cenobites, beings devoted to exploring the boundaries between pain and pleasure. They're summoned through intricate puzzle boxes to collect victims and subject them to sophisticated torture that transcends traditional concepts of death. Originally, Pinhead was Captain Elliot Spencer, a World War I soldier who lost faith in humanity after witnessing the horrors of war. Now he serves Leviathan, a cosmic god of pain and suffering, and has inhabited multiple bodies throughout history. Pinhead retains his intellectual sophistication while delivering sadomasochistic torment, offering victims experiences beyond pain as twisted enlightenment. His philosophy is that pleasure and pain are the same sensation taken to extremes. Pinhead's evil is uniquely disturbing because he intellectually justifies extreme cruelty as enlightenment. At least Pinhead's torture serves a purpose he believes in. Our next killer just wants to play deadly games with you. Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger is a child killer who gained the power to murder people through their dreams. When Freddy kills you in your nightmares, you die in real life, and there's absolutely nowhere you can hide from him. Originally known as the Springwood Slayer, Freddy murdered multiple children before vigilante parents discovered his crimes and burned him alive in his boiler room. But death only made Freddy more dangerous. He gained supernatural ability to kill through victims' dreams, and when he kills you in the dream world, you die in reality too. The character was inspired by real cases of sudden, unexplained nocturnal death syndrome, where young Hmong refugees died mysteriously in their sleep. Freddy uses psychological torture and dark humor while stalking victims in their dreams, and he can manipulate reality itself within dreamscapes. Freddy's evil is particularly terrifying because he removes the one place people should feel safe, their own minds during sleep. You have to sleep eventually, and when you do, Freddy will be waiting. But Freddy's games are random. Our next character designs specific moral tests for each victim. Jigsaw. Jigsaw is a killer who forces victims to torture themselves through elaborate moral tests. John Kramer's traps don't just kill you, they make you choose exactly how much you're willing to suffer to live. John Kramer designs intricate torture devices that test victims' will to live. His traps often require self-mutilation or sacrifice to survive, and he targets people he perceives as wasting their lives or being ungrateful for what they have. The twisted part is that Jigsaw never directly kills anyone. Victims die from failing his tests or refusing to participate. He uses elaborate mechanical contraptions with precise time limits, and he records video messages explaining his twisted moral philosophy. Jigsaw genuinely believes his torture helps people appreciate life more. He thinks that only by facing death can people truly understand the value of living. I don't know, John. Maybe this is a bit extreme. Jigsaw's evil is uniquely disturbing because he genuinely believes his torture serves a higher moral purpose. His twisted philosophy that people need to suffer to appreciate life makes his elaborate death traps more psychologically disturbing than simple murder. He forces victims to actively participate in their own torture, making them complicit in their suffering while believing he's helping them become better people. But at least Jigsaw gives you a chance to survive. Our final character offers no escape at all. Pennywise. Pennywise is an ancient cosmic entity that has been feeding on children's fear for centuries. Pennywise emerges every 27 years to hunt Derry's children, and what this ancient being does to them before feeding transcends anything human evil could imagine. Pennywise is an ancient entity that predates human civilization, emerging every 27 years to feed on children in the fictional town of Derry, Maine. It shapeshifts into victims' worst fears before consuming them, and has documented disappearances and killings spanning generations. The entity feeds primarily on fear, delighting in psychological torment before killing its young victims. Pennywise possesses supernatural powers that transcend physical limitations, and its specific targeting of children makes it particularly disturbing for audiences. The character has become an icon of modern horror and contributed to widespread coulrophobia, the fear of clowns, in popular culture. Its ability to become anything its victims fear most makes it the ultimate predator. Pennywise represents the ultimate evil because it combines cosmic malevolence with child predation. If you enjoyed this video, click the video on screen now to see the worst fates in horror movies that will definitely keep you up at night.